to another episode of the Bob and Rob Show. I am Rob, and across from me is my brother from another mother, Bob. How you doing today, Bob?
I'm doing pretty well.
All right, man. Today we are going to be talking about, I think we're going to be doing a 4-part on another book written by Bob. It's called The Full Conviction. And so we're going to be discussing this in 4 different parts. It's a pretty dense read. And so we're going to start this off today.
Is that because I'm dense?
No, actually, I felt kind of dense reading it because I'd have to read a sentence and go back to it. I don't know if it's distractions or I just want to be honest, I want to get the full depth of it. So sometimes I'll just read through it and then read it carefully the second time.
Yeah, it's kind of like reading through the book of Hebrews or the book of Romans.
When I was reading the Jubilees and the Book of Enoch and stuff, that's why I had to do that. It's a lot to unpack because it goes contrary to what I've been told as a man.
Yeah.
So anyway, the book is called The Full Conviction, and we're going to be talking about defining the need. But first, I'd like to start out this with the premise. Mm-hmm. And I know we walk around through life trying to figure stuff out, and we're going by our own conditioning. Mm-hmm. And I always refer to the Bible as the manual for life.
Yeah.
But
that's a simplistic way of looking at it.
Yeah. I actually had it on a novelty license plate I put on the front of my. You want an instruction manual to life? You got one. It's called the Bible.
Yep.
But we don't know which direction to take our life. We just want to make sure that we're doing things correctly. Mm-hmm. And where do we? You want to know where we look for that. And like when you're trying to explain something to someone, you see them when they finally get it, their eyes will light up. As if. Yeah. As if what you've been trying to explain something to someone for, let's say, a couple minutes, trying to explain something simple, like how to put water in a glass. You don't turn it upside down. You turn it this way. It has to be held. Yes, you can't. It'll only work if you do this.
All right.
And then
that's
all of a sudden, yeah. So when that moment that information is being fed into their brains, you see their eyes light up as if they're processing new information that makes sense. Because we really don't want to be processing and collecting information that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what would be the point?
Yeah. Some people live their lives by misinformation.
Oh, man.
What a horrible way to live. But so that means that there was like an empty spot inside of their mind that has now been filled with useful information that they can be applied to in their daily life every single day. And so now it becomes like an intrinsic knowing.
Yeah. Well, define intrinsic.
I don't know. I would assume intrinsic means that it's always there.
It's now on the hard drive.
Yeah, it exists now and forever.
For instance, I'll give you a good analogy. I have when I write on the computer, and I basically use Microsoft Word. Well, if Microsoft Word is not installed on my computer mm-hmm. as an operating system, then I can't use Microsoft Word.
Okay.
That's simple. I mean, that's kind of like a simple analogy, and that's basically. It's kind of like your computer, when Microsoft Word is installed on the computer, your computer knows Microsoft Word. It intrinsically knows it. And it becomes how everything is processed. Microsoft Word is the processor that when you're typing or whatever. So that intrinsic knowing that you're talking about is that knowing within the core of your being. You know something. You can't be talked out of it. once you know it intrinsically. You might know it academically, but academics can be changed. I mean, we see science change all the time. We see paradigms change in education, and, sometimes for the worst, for worse. A lot of times, new ideas of ways to educate people in, like, new math, or something like that. And people go, the old farmers are going, why would they do that?
Right. That don't make no sense. We did it like this, X, Y, and Z. It was much simpler, and then you're trying to confuse it.
Yeah.
And so, well, that's actually a pretty good example of how they're trying to reframe and rewire how we think. Going in the now is going to be generational.
Well, they're trying to make it generational.
Exactly. They were trying. That's the replacement generation of us.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, is there so much information? Are we limited in our brain capacity to accept this kind of information? Like you think like you'll forget something that was intrinsic before to you? I give you an example. I can't skip. I'm serious. I can't skip it. I remember when I was a kid, it was like second nature. You could skip just like you could walk. You could skip, just skipping down the street. You played hopscotch. You were skipping. I can't do it. I've tried. I look like I'm having a seizure, but I can't skip anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, what's wrong, man?" Well,
I'm trying to skip, and he's like, "You look like you're having a seizure, dude."
I was ready to put a wallet in your mouth.
Thought he was going to have to call 911. But I can't skip anymore, and I don't know if I can't do it.
Well, how many years has it been? What, like 40 years, 50 years?
Yeah, because that's been about how long since I've been happy enough to skip.
I think that you can I don't think that you ever forget it. It's still imprinted on your brain, like your hard drive. It's imprinted there, but it's been so long since you've accessed that information or that act that your brain, your basically your current brain goes, well, I don't even know how to do that. My body doesn't know how to do that. You know what I mean? My brain is atrophied so much when it comes to skipping that I no longer am able to do the muscle functions that actually create skipping.
Yeah, and who would have known there was muscle functions behind it? I just skipped.
Yeah.
It was just something you did.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And now I can't do it. If someone put a gun to my head, just shoot me. Just shoot me. I can't do it. I done forgot how. And I was like, I thought about that one day. I was like, what is wrong with me? Did it just leave my brain and to make room for another set of useless information that I need to put up here? Am I like limited in my capacity? Like, as my hard drive?
Yeah.
Am I beyond my memory space?
Well, I don't think so. I think that we are in the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We don't even realize we liken it to a computer, our brain, but it's so far beyond that. It's so far beyond the functionings. I don't care if it's a quantum computer. It's the human brain is we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and our brain capacity has no limit to its capacity. However, I do believe that certain information that has been at one time imprinted in your engrams of your brain will, because of lack of use, you've been on a computer where you haven't done something, you haven't used a certain program for a long time. And then you call it up, 6, 7 years or 10 years later, and the computer looks like it's just going, you know, and then you say, well, I don't. So rather than closing it down, you just kind of walk away and you come back in 5, 6 hours and there it is on the screen. It's because it's so far back in the flow of information that it's difficult for it to retrieve it quickly.
Mm.
You know, and obviously the higher quality computers you'll be able to retrieve that information. But you go back to an old Commodore 64, you don't use something, man, it just gets shoved way in the back, and it takes a lot of keystrokes and patience to retrieve a certain operator, you know.
I guess it would be kind of like updating an app.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to update it.
But you could probably notice you're talking about the physical act of skipping. Well, think of the physical of the metaphysical, if you will, the exercises that you do in your mind, right? And you haven't accessed those particular things in a long, long, long time. So to recall them so that you can actually use them as a processing format, you have to start just kind of thinking about it. And all of a sudden, the more you think about it, the more it starts coming back and it starts coming back and starts coming back. And all of a sudden, boom, it's just like it was 20 years ago.
Okay, that's so.
In other words, you're accessing the information because you really want to.
Okay, so basically you're communicating with yourself.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, trying to decipher what's going on.
It's just like your keyboard, right? Your keyboard is not you, but you're typing things in order to have some procedure to be done. You can't just think it in there.
Right, and with you typing it in,
It's you thinking.
yes, it's a, and you are actually making a conversation of defined words
Yeah.
in your transfer of thought.
Yeah. And the computer itself, just looking at this thing called the computer itself knows that when you do these particular keystrokes, that certain things are going to happen.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They're going to go, you know, and then the stuff starts popping up on your screen. But you go, oh yeah, well there it is. You know, so and I think we're that way as well.
Okay, because right, because it's all about the communication.
Yeah, it's us commuting. I like the way you put it. It's us communicating with ourselves.
Correct.
And not that I'm saying that that's the only communication that we have. Obviously, we have communication. What you and I are doing right now is communication.
Right, and we're using language and words that we know what they mean. They're
Right.
defined.
Because if I was speaking French, you'd be going, huh?
Yeah.
What? So, I mean, it's like the words definitely have to be defined in order to have even a conversation.
Yeah. And even if that conversation is a one-way conversation, like instruction manuals you get when you put together a table or something like that, the manufacturer, even it'll come with a manual and an instruction manual.
Right.
Manual to operate the equipment that you're putting together, and then an operator's or an instruction manual on how to put it together.
Yeah.
Now you need to know what you're doing. So they do that by giving you a choice in a language that you need to be able to read.
Yeah.
Because you'll have I've looked at these instruction manuals, and they'll be in Mandarin, Indonesia, German, French, English, Spanish, so that it can communicate in a language that you can understand and comprehend. Correct. Exactly. So they know which language that they can comprehend, and so they'll read that. I'm not going to read the French portion in it. That would be ludicrous.
am now.
Exactly. And I'm not going to read the Spanish portion because that would be ludicrous. I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
I could try and challenge myself and see if I could figure it out.
Yeah, in about
And
6 years, right?
yeah, well, that might be what I do on a boring Saturday afternoon when I want to take a 5-minute task and turn it to 5 hours. It'd be a little fun.
Yeah.
But you would choose
An exercise in futility.
futility, yes, indeed. But you would choose the language that you understand and
Yeah.
comprehend,
Right.
and then read from that the communication from the manufacturer, someone who's not even there, and because that's the whole point of the written word, the written
Yeah.
document.
Well, what is the written word in relation to this? What is the written word of those instructions? It came from somewhere.
What do you mean?
It came from a person.
Okay.
A person wrote those words.
We hope.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 years ago, yeah, I would say yes, but yeah, we hope. Right now, they're probably just an AI bot, and he's just
Possibly.
yeah, and yeah,
But somebody wrote the words that told you how to assemble this thing. Somebody wrote them,
right.
and it was in their mind before they ever put their hands to a keyboard to print it, to type it up. So it was the instructions was already in them. All they're doing through however many steps in the process is getting you to understand what their mind understood. So they know how to assemble the thing, and through them putting it into the computer and then printing it out as instructions and then sending it to you when you bought the item, they're basically through the subsequent steps they're wanting to put their mind of what they understand into your mind so you can understand what they know.
Hmm.
This is kind of like God talking to us because he wants us to know what he knows. He wants to understand. He wants us to understand the instruction.
Okay, because the instructions have to be based in truth, and
Why would there be any instruction in anything else but that which is true?
maybe he's a wicked man. He's a wicked man that wants to stir chaos.
There are those.
Yes, like Professor Chaos on South Park. He just wants to do mayhem. He wants to. So he's like, I am going to put wrong directions in here and see how long it takes till chaos ensues. And he just
That's right.
he sends those instructions manual out, and he's like, I'm quitting in 2 weeks anyway. I don't care.
And that guy you're talking about has been around
He's been around for a very long time, since the dawn. Yes.
a good while.
Yeah.
He was created, and then he abdicated what his creation was supposed to be. And when he abdicated, he became the opposite of that creation.
Mm.
Now, see, people don't see it from that simplistic perspective. They look at Lucifer and subsequently Satan. They look at him from a more complex understanding. So he's not complex, even though he complexes things. He's not complex. He has a modus operandi, and it's so simple that even a 2-year-old see it.
Why do you think he keeps it complicated? Do you think he wants to? Because I think he knows how we think.
Yeah.
And he knows that we can get lost, and we will purposely. Yeah. Well, I think he knows us as well as God does. He knows our heart. Well, let me put it in a different way.
Okay.
He knows our ability to deceive and be deceived.
And he does that.
And
I think he does that through observation.
yes.
In other words, he doesn't know it intrinsically, as we were
Okay.
talking earlier.
Okay.
He only ascertains who we are by the information that we give him, by the things that we do.
Okay. So in essence, if we prove to him that we're an open and available vessel, he'll be able to pour himself into.
Right.
Just as with God, if we prove to him that we're available and pour himself into us.
But God is on like so many levels above Lucifer.
Mm.
Lucifer only can approach you concerning the information that you have given him inadvertently. He watches you. He looks at you. He sees your propensity for certain, like this event will happen over here and how you respond to it. He logs that. He logs that and he puts it in a file, basically. I'm speaking metaphorically. Puts it in a file. Okay, so Rob, when this thing happens, this is the way Rob responds. Okay, now I'm going to use that. So, and another circumstance arises, and he watches you and sees how you respond. He doesn't know what's going on internally in you.
Okay.
He doesn't really know. God is the only one that's privy to that.
Okay. So in essence, if he can manipulate your environment that you live in, then basically your choices that are predetermined, because he knows that if this, that, and the other, 1, 2, and 3 happens, that he will react in this way.
Yeah. Well, and it's all based on assumption.
Mm-hmm.
His observations are still based on assumption and not reality. Because the thing that's the reaction, that how you react to certain things, like something adversely happens to you, the way that you react, he only knows your reaction. He doesn't know what the mechanism in the core of your being. He doesn't see the wheels turning on the inside.
So
he's ignorant.
So he's ignorant of why you're reacting that way. Okay.
He can assume. He can make extrapolations on, well, he acted this way when this happened. He added, so he's got a myriad, he's got thousands and thousands of reactions of how you reacted to something according to thousands and thousands of situations and things like that. So he's constantly, he never sleeps and he never slumbers. He's always awake and he's always observing. It's the only thing that he can ascertain anything. And he really does. It's really a presumption on his part or an assumption on his part. He really doesn't know the core of the people that he's trying to affect. Because if he did, no one would ever get saved. So God sovereignly comes in and starts revealing truth apart from those things that the devil's been kind of like throwing at you to see your reaction, so he can get to a place where he can use all this information that he's acquired for you or concerning you and start actually doing his work through your belief system.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify that, at least for my own clarity, is that he doesn't know the core of your being.
Okay.
It's impossible for him to know, because in order for him to know that, he would have to understand truth. And if he has no capacity for truth.
Okay.
He did have it before he fell, but now he doesn't. And I contend that even the angels themselves are learning truth.
Okay.
And I contend even further that their learning of truth is through observing us.
Okay. Because I guess you could define truth that it makes known to us the reality of things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
See, there's what's true, and then there's truth.
Okay.
Truth is a living reality. What is true is it's kind of like water's wet. Okay. But truth but truth is the reason that it is wet.
Okay.
See, it's a different way of looking at it. That which is true, it's true. For instance, I'll just throw out a little situation. It's true that I got a hangnail,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't have a hangnail, but when I have, it's true that I had a hangnail, right? But that's not truth. Truth is a living dynamic. It's a living reality, because Jesus himself said, I'm the way, the truth. In other words, truth has a personality.
All right.
What is true does not have a person.
I got you.
It reveals something.
Okay.
Now, when truth and what is true coincide, that's a good thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing, because the truth himself is going to reveal to you what is true.
Okay.
And I just wanted to kind of like just make the distinction between what is true and what is truth, because I actually see truth as a person.
Okay. And truth is something you should want to seek.
Yeah, yeah. Them that seek the truth shall find it.
Yes.
That's a promise. That's actually a promise. That's one of my favorite promises. If you seek, you will find. Well, if you're seeking truth, you will find truth.
Yeah, I think you wrote down that that's one of the kingdom's prerequisites is that you seek, you ask, and you knock in order to find and get the answers and have doors of understanding opened.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other way. I think God arbitrarily gives that stuff to know.
Yeah. Well, I believe that I have found, how about this? I have found that truth is it's like a spectrum from which you can view life. And without that prism, without that lens to look at life, if you look at life through the lens of the world, it will always be fuzzy. The picture will always be fuzzy.
That's right.
You know, like like you're looking at a picture that's out of focus, it's fuzzy. It's like I can see it looks like a woman, but it might be a dude with a hat, and you can't see
Could be an
things.
aardvark.
Yeah, well, you can't see
Right.
you can't see it correctly. You can't see the very things in front of you correctly because your vision, your sight is construed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is corrupted.
Yeah.
And truth, when you look at things through the lens of truth, its reality becomes more prominent in your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can interact, and it helps you interact in this world in a better way.
Yeah. You stop looking at people's you stop looking at the faults of people, because truth has revealed to you why they have faults. And so you start with, especially when God is living in you, the love of God being shed abroad in your hearts. You actually start looking at people as the reason that they are flawed. Just like you're able to look at yourself and the flaws of yourself. And you no longer have, because of the love of God, even for yourself, you're no longer condemning yourself for those past flaws and faults and inconsistencies and everything like that. And you start looking at others in the potential that they can know now what you know, the love of God.
Mm.
They can know, and that that you can actually be a facilitator of them knowing that. So we're still talking about intrinsic knowing.
Right.
So basically that which they may not intrinsically know, because you intrinsically know it, you can maybe through language, through defining the words, all that kind of stuff, getting to a common ground of language. And we are able to convey to them, and you mentioned it earlier about the light came on. There was no light before, but all of a sudden, boom, the light came on. So we can actually get to the place where we are facilitators of that light. But maybe that's why that Jesus said we're the light of the world.
Okay. Okay, well,
I hope I haven't pulled you too far off track.
no, you didn't pull me too far. See, I don't know if people know from if this is your first time listening or whatever, but I'm a new Christian. I am learning as I'm sitting here talking with my brother. So, and this is how I get to learn. And this is how I get through this. This is part of my transitioning phase. So, with that said, I want to jump into this chapter that you have called The Enigma.
Mm-hmm.
And you have written that Jesus is a master presenting enigmas and then pigeonholing their definitions.
Because there is only one definition.
That's right.
Hence the pigeonhole.
Well, he has a very enigmatic, there you go, Rob. There you go. The English language. Not too hard, buddy. You've been doing it your whole life. Come on, man. But he has an enigmatic statement of his own. My words are spirit and they are life, and they are not naturally discerned.
They are not
naturally
discerned.
They are not naturally discerned.
Yeah, that's a pretty emphatic statement. I would have liked them in there to hear him say that.
And so I'd be like, what do you mean there's not naturally discerned?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can discern a lot of things.
Yeah.
I can discern that I can feel the breeze on my face. I can discern that the wind is blowing. I can discern that when I turn the faucet on, I get water.
Mm-hmm.
I've got good discernment.
Right.
Jesus is saying, well, but my words, you might understand and be able to comprehend natural things with natural reasoning, but you're not going to understand my words with natural reasoning.
All right, because I think that'd be because you have no wisdom in it, right?
Well, there's no spirit
in
it, because he says my words are spirit.
Okay, because when I was reading that, I was thinking, well, I think I got a pretty good example of what that would be. It's like cooking, you have a recipe for a cake. Okay, let's say you have a recipe. It could be a recipe for anything. But you have a recipe, a quarter cup of this, a teaspoon of that, blah, 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 blah. There's your pecking order. These are the things that are required, the physical things that are required. Now, you can get 5 different people doing the very same thing, and it will come out 5 different ways.
Yeah.
Because because of the wisdom that we acquire, they're chefs. So they know that maybe this can be tweaked here, that'll be tweaked there. They don't follow the recipe verbatim. They get the general gist of it, and they put a little bit of flair in it, a little bit of themselves.
You could say that they're not just following directions, but there's an intrinsic knowing in them how certain things work together.
Right.
How the flour works with the salt.
It's like, what'll tweak this recipe? Little vanilla extract, because it'll mix with the nutmeg and it'll make this little flavor. And you know that intrinsically because you've been doing it for so long.
Right.
It's kind of like, I don't know, like NASCAR. Okay. I drive for a living. So I know about vehicles, and you can have the same vehicles in NASCAR. You have to have the same carburetor, the same kind of motor, no tires. Everybody's the same, yet you'll have a winner and a loser.
And somebody that trashes their vehicle.
Yeah, but they're all the same. They all start the same. So they should all be in first place, theoretically. Theoretically.
Right.
But they're not, because some have more skill, more wisdom,
Yeah.
the more, little processes. I'm going to take the high bank around this corner, with me, there's all kinds of things that we as humans will apply to these things to excel and become better at.
Right. And it's all based on the individual's intrinsic knowledge.
There you go, man. There you go.
Maybe this library of intrinsic knowledge in this one driver is 30% better than the intrinsic knowledge of another driver.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows up in the performance.
Correct. Absolutely. And with that said, though, it's just it's in a lot of things we do. I think that's what we seem to miss as human beings, is the little flavor that every person can bring to whatever they're doing. That little special spark.
Yeah.
And I think that's that special spark that God sees, and He wants us to see it in each other.
But let me ask you this: do you think that's a gift?
Absolutely. I think it's part of our creation. Because I often think, why aren't we so special? What's all the hoopla about us?
So you're saying that God is doesn't have this giant cookie cutter up there making humans?
Absolutely not. I mean, if that was the case, we wouldn't have a Nikola Tesla's or the Napoleons, the George Washingtons, the Thomas Jeffersons. I'm talking about the founding fathers.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have those people, and that's why I think it breaks God's heart when we're killing our children.
Oh man.
The children. Just think of the people that could have been alive, that God had intended to cure cancer, or had plans for that, and we muck it all up by living the way we want to live instead of the way God wants us to live.
That when you were saying that just sounds like love of self.
It's absolutely the love of self, and it's being exploited.
Yeah, think about, and when I'm saying love, I'm not saying the God type of love. I'm thinking affection. Whatever we set our eyes on.
Well, it's selfishness too.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is, this is going to affect my life, and I don't want to have to deal with this, blah, blah. It's all me, 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 me.
Mm-hmm. So I need to get rid of this human that's inside me, because whoever it is going to hinder me.
Yeah, it's going to be a burden to me.
It's going to hinder what I want.
And that's all mindset, because it could be a blessing to you. It's all in how it's how you deal with it.
That's a great point. If you've gotten pregnant, to not see that, whatever the circumstances were, if you've gotten pregnant and you do not see that life within you is a blessing, you're stealing from yourself. You're saying, I do not want a blessing such as this in my life, because you don't know what you're going to learn, the values that you're going to learn from bringing that child up, caring for it, instructing it. You're stealing from yourself. And that's the essence of a blessing, is to enhance and proliferate the goodness of life within a person. That's why God blesses. That's why He blesses. So to be able to willfully negate the blessing of God, whether it's a human or it's understanding about something that's good and right, you're just stealing from yourself. And people are thieving from themselves every day at a rate that we can't comprehend.
Well, they're also stealing from that life that didn't get a chance to live.
And they're stealing from God too.
Yes. And I think that's why Satan is working in that way, because it crushes his heart.
Absolutely.
Crushes his heart. And we do it voluntarily, out of selfish means.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
And it's because, getting back to the whole premise that we're talking about here, is because things are not correctly defined. We don't know what good is.
Well, as you had written, he, meaning the Spirit, relentlessly hammers them by saying that he, the Spirit, will convict the world, including the then disciples, as well as us, of how it has been wrong about sin, about righteousness, and about judgment, which they hadn't yet comprehended from Jesus's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that we still can't comprehend it through his perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of like an acquired taste, isn't it?
Yes.
You have to actually want to acquire it, or you won't get it, which means pursuit.
Yes, and that's all about the choices.
Yeah.
Choice.
Mm-hmm.
You could choose to ignore, or you can choose to seek.
Well, think about choice. All choices are predicated on pursuit. What do you want to pursue? As a matter of fact, you will pursue. You will choose what you pursue.
And a lot of people, I think a lot of people, when they go that path, they don't commit to it. You got to commit to the seeking.
Even if it's wrong, at least commit to it to find out how wrong it is.
But I don't think people have it in their heart anymore to try and to seek.
Well, I mean, we can't say people in general. I mean, it looks like a big propensity, because here you and I are. What are we doing? We're seeking. We're seeking fundamentally what's good and right. But at least we've come to the realization that there is no good and right unless God is the good and right in it. If he's not the good in it, then what good is it? I don't care if it looks good. You know, I was taken aback and kind of like very impacted greatly by what Paul says. I think it's in 1 Corinthians 13 or something like that, or somewhere around there, where he's talking about love. He said, if I feed the poor, if I give my body to be burned as a sacrifice, if I did this and did this and did this and have not love, it's just a bunch of noise. In other words, he's understanding that God is love. And if he's doing all these things without God, it's nothing. That's a big slap in the face for all of us that are, all of us that want to do some kind of ministry or something like that. It's a huge slap in the face. If God's not doing it in you, man, just go get drunk. I'm not saying go get drunk, but it's as much value as anything you do apart from God. Getting drunk and you feeding the poor, it's going to benefit the poor. But if God's not in it, well, there's none good but God.
That's right. And as you have written here, they've not yet learned how to be Velcro to God's word. Them being the hook and his word being the loop.
Yeah, we hook into it.
That's right, man. And it becomes part of us.
Yeah, intrinsic.
Yes.
There's that word, intrinsic.
That intrinsic knowing.
Yep, exactly.
That God is in us if we follow the word.
It's basically, you said this before, you've talked about the Gnosticism. Well, the word Gnosticism comes from the Greek word Gnostic or gnosko, which means intrinsic knowing. That's what gnosko means. And the word Gnostic comes from that Greek word, gnosko,
Right. And
which is intrinsic knowing. But I contend that in their search to, quote, know, maybe they've come to another knowledge that they need not know. Because, again, if it's not knowing God, then what do you know?
well, I think that their dilemma was they're processing the information and knowledge that they've acquired through human understanding.
Yeah, without God.
Right.
God, you're over here.
Right.
We'll do this on our own.
And that's one of the conclusions I come to when I go to all of these different religions when I was seeking, trying to find, was that basically it's all based on our understanding of things we don't understand.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
And that's what it all boils down to. And that's how I managed to turn all of that off. Because everything was pointing to Christ. Everything. And I was like, well, that was weird. And I was like, let me go back over here to where I had been running from.
Mm-hmm. Because I thought it was unvaluable.
I thought it was unvaluable. I did.
You thought it was just a religious platitude.
Yeah, I was like,
Jesus guy, it's like, he did really great things, but
Yeah, he was a figure, and then I was like, well, was he? And then I started, oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He's a documented figure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And so he did exist. He did resurrect. He existed.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Right.
The things he did. It is written. It's written down.
Yeah.
And he had followers that died brutally for this truth. I know people don't die horrible deaths of their own fruition and set themselves up for this for a lie.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
They were the ones that created.
No, even if you created the lie, I don't think someone would want to get boiled alive or hung upside down on a cross and still believing that lie. They would be like, I'm joking. I give up. I mean,
I didn't.
Uncle, it was all a lie. We all made it up. We actually hit his body. It's all big conspiracy. I'm sorry. No, they did not.
Yeah, but there are examples of people who get so entrenched, and I believe this is from the adversary, because we already understand the principle that faith comes by hearing. In other words, what you believe comes by hearing. Well, if you hear Lucifer or the devil enough, you'll start believing it. Just like the society of Germany started getting to the place where they were told that the Jews were bad, that they were vermin, that they were, less than human and everything like that. And all of a sudden, when the evil started really happening, well, the evil started happening before the gas chambers were ever there. The evil was happening in people's hearts.
Yeah.
Because they've been told and told and told and told and told, and faith came by hearing.
Correct. Yeah. Because it's easy to lie to people, but it's very hard to convince them that they've been lied to.
Yeah, but once they cross that threshold, there is a threshold where you end up believing the stuff that you're going to produce evil with.
Oh yeah. It's funny. A person will believe something without even knowing any facts, anything about it. They'll believe this. They will believe it with all of their heart and soul, have no proof that what they believe is real or truth,
right,
and will believe it with full conviction, which is what this book is about. It's a full conviction. But if you want to counter what they believe in, what they have been convicted in. If you try and counter that, they will want every bit of proof that you have to convince them of the truth that they think is real, that was based on no truth, no facts,
Yeah,
no nothing.
exactly.
But they'll want to be kicked off that mountain with truth and facts. And you'll bring it and they won't believe it because they cannot believe that they were invested in a lie because they are sold on the fact that they are so morally superior.
Pride.
Yes,
That's the engine of all that.
that's a good one. But yeah, pride.
Pride says I'm right,
Yeah,
no matter what. If the whole world
right.
says I'm wrong,
The whole world is wrong. I am correct.
that's right.
And they will go to their grave with that mentality.
Yeah, and worse than grave.
Yeah. Well, what's in the grave? Death.
Yeah, and
Death does not reside in us.
and death is going to eventually be thrown into the lake of fire. It says hell and death are thrown into the lake of fire ultimately.
Because that is what he's been convicted in. But he's not bringing me.
That's right.
He's not bringing me because I'm separate from him. He's trying to influence me, but he's got no part of me anymore.
That's right. That's good.
And it's his death. That's his sentence. My sentence is different.
Yeah, I like what I think it was said in Romans, the Romans 1 or 2, chapter 1 or chapter 2. It says that, well, since you are dead to sin, why allow sin to have anything in you? If you're dead to it.
Yep. If you're dead to it, it should have no influence on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and death is the entire realm of, in other words, and the only thing that we are tempted by are things that are possible when you fundamentally think about it. In other words, is it possible to commit adultery?
Is it possible for me to skip?
Yeah. So is it possible to commit adultery? Well, then you think about it. Yeah. But if I'm dead to adultery, it's not really possible.
Right.
Because it doesn't live in me. Adultery doesn't live in me. So why would I commit adultery? I'm dead to it.
Why would I bring something into my house if I'm dead to it?
Yeah, that's right. If you knew that if you ate this particular food, that you're going to die the moment you put first bite in, it's like, well, you better have the intrinsic knowing that that thing is going to kill you, So that's, again, intrinsic knowledge instructing you in the ways of undeath, of not dying or living in death. And it's through death to death. You're dying to death and its influences. And adultery is just one thing. It's like we're always getting to another place where something else dies. Some other possible temptation dies. Okay, that's done with. Not going to do them. Not going to steal anymore.
Yeah, I have found it to be a huge burden.
Yeah, of course.
Lift it up. My walk is awfully light now.
That goes with the scripture that says, Paul says, lay aside every weight that so easily besets you or keeps you from doing the work of God. Lay it aside. In other words, die to it. Don't let it have any mechanism or engine within you. It's not creating any actions in you at all like that. And that's the beauty of actually being crucified with Christ, because in him you die to those things, and they no longer have the right to be in you.
Okay.
Which is a joyous place to be. It's like you look at something that used to tempt you before, boy, I'd really like to have that. and it's like, but the reality is that no, that it doesn't even get there. It doesn't even get to the place where you say, boy, I'd really like to have, no, because you're dead to it. It's like, that's not life. Why would I want that? It's like getting in the habit of hitting yourself in the head with a ball-peen hammer. At some point in time, you're going to die because of that's what your habit is. Well, you can die to that habit. That's the cool part about it. In Christ, you can die to those things and they'll no longer have any power. In other words, the thing that used to make me hit myself in the head with the ball-peen hammer is no longer in me.
So you can
I'm putting the
die.
hammer down.
So you can die to things, or you can die from
things. Death is going to be a part of it any way you look at it.
Amen, brother. Well, with that said, we're going to close this section of Bob's book, The Full Conviction. And I hope you were able to listen to these words that we have, and that it may fall as seeds on fertile ground in your hearts and your minds. And I hope you got something from today's episode. With that said, this was the BoBnRoB Show. I am Rob, and across from me is Bob. And we'll talk again next time. See you later.